Good afternoon or good evening actually, and welcome to the final session at the Langley College virtual open day. And this is the session around apprenticeships being delivered by our Head of Apprenticeships, Rena Cape. So I'm just going to hand over to Rena. She's going to take you through how apprenticeships work, and also we'll be answering questions at the end. Over to you, Rena.
Thank you. Hi everyone, hope you've had a informative and great evening so far. Thank you for staying on if you're finding out more about apprenticeships. So as my colleague said, I'm the Head of Apprenticeships at the college, and my name is Rena Cape. So I'm just going to go through a quick rundown of what an apprenticeship is, the sort of apprenticeships we have to offer, and the benefits of doing an apprenticeship. If it wants to work, that is. So there's certain criteria to be an apprentice. So to be an apprentice, you must be 16 or over, not already in full-time education. So you have to have finished school, or finish your GCSEs or A Levels, or not be in any sort of other education, full-time education. You need to be living in England. You can start an apprenticeship as the start of your career, or if it's a change or you're upskilling in your current job. For instance, if you're working in your current job role right now, and your employer wants you to work towards a team leader status or a manager status, and you need a qualification to back that up. So an apprenticeship can be for existing employees as well. So as an apprentice, I'm sure lots of you know, you learn and train for a specific job. You get paid and receive holiday leave. So you have the same benefits, and you should be entitled to the same entitlement as other employees, because although you're an apprentice, you are an employee of that business. So you'll have a contract of employment. You'll have all the benefits that other employees have, because you will be a fully fledged employee of that company. You'll get real hands-on experience in a real job. So you will be in a real job working 9 to 5 in some instances. Sometimes in the construction industry or engineering industry, the hours can vary, but you'll be in a real job. You're not treated any differently to any other employee. You'll study at least 20% of your working hours, usually at college, but also at work as well. And these are called your off-the-job learning hours, which, if you were to take an apprenticeship, would give you lots more information about. But your employer is actually committing to giving you 20% of your contracted working hours towards your learning and development. So you're not having to do masses and masses of work just in your own time. Obviously, some of your own time is needed as well for you to complete assignments or work that needs to be done, but your employer is committing to giving you 20% of your working hours. So you're able to do learning and development throughout your apprenticeship. So some apprenticeships involve assessments and assignments, and every single apprenticeship right now is called an apprenticeship standard. And these have been developed by employers for employers. So employers have actually developed these new apprenticeship standards, and they've worked together to put together set skills, knowledge and behaviours. And then at the end of your apprenticeship is an endpoint assessment, and that is assessed by an independent assessor. So not by your assessor that would be coaching you throughout your apprenticeship who works at the college, but by the endpoint assessment organisation. You'll be on a career path with lots of future potential. So many of our apprentices go on to, either further their careers in the current business that they did their apprenticeship with, or they go on to work for bigger and better companies. So, doing an apprenticeship is a brilliant opportunity, and the world is your oyster. So, like I said, it's a real job, and I think this is a repeated slide. Sorry, but it's a real job, and you gain real experience, and you get paid for it. If anybody ever says to you, an apprenticeship is an easy way out, and that's what people used to say. Apprenticeships came with this sort of label of, oh, it's the easy way out. It's not going to university and you're not going to get the same benefits. Let me tell you something, actually apprenticeship isn't, and that's not me putting you off, it's actually showing you the value of an apprenticeship. I always say to every apprentice, treat your apprenticeship like the world's longest job interview, because you're totally trying to make yourself indispensable throughout that whole duration of your apprenticeship. And then you've got a full-time job. You've got a day at college, you've got work to do. So it's not the easy way out, but it is the most fulfilling way to develop your career and get your education. By the end of the apprenticeship, you'll have the skills, knowledge needed for your chosen career path. That is the whole point of new apprenticeship standards. They're developed by employers with three elements: the skills, knowledge and behaviours, which you'll hear lots about, and it's packaged in a way to give you everything you need to do or need to learn to be in that career. The length of your apprenticeship will vary depending on the programme and level. So depending on what apprenticeship you're interested in, the duration could be 12 months, 18 months, could be 3 years or 4 years. An apprenticeship is funded from contributions made by the government and your employer. So, you know, you do not pay for your apprenticeship yourself. So in a sort of nutshell, this is what an apprenticeship looks like. So when you do fill in your enrolment with us, you'll have an initial assessment, and the initial assessment is a basic skills scan of your current job role and your current ability and knowledge and experience, but also your basic maths and English. And then once all that's done and you've signed up and you've been successful and you've had initial assessment with the assessor, who would be your coach throughout the apprenticeship, then you start your apprenticeship and you do the training at college, you do the training in the workplace, develop on those three elements I talked about. If you haven't got GCSE exemptions or functional skills at maths and English, that doesn't jeopardise your position at all to do an apprenticeship. If anything, we support you and we will put you through functional skills for maths and English. And so that's if you need to do that. If you've already got your maths and English at GCSE level or functional skills or otherwise, then obviously you don't need to do that. But if you haven't, it doesn't jeopardise your chance of doing an apprenticeship with us. And then also the 20% off the job, which is what we talked about, which is what I talked about earlier. So your employer will be committing to giving you 20% of your working time to do your apprenticeship. So once all that's done and you get towards 3 months before your end date, we've got a virtual gateway. So it's called the Endpoint Assessment Gateway. So then you will be submitted towards Gateway and then you'll do your endpoint assessment. The endpoint assessment consists of various activities that are assessed by the independent assessor. So for instance, if you were I'll give you an example of one so you know what an endpoint assessment may look like. If you were a carpenter doing a carpentry level 2 apprenticeship with us, the endpoint assessment would be ensuring all the skills, knowledge and behaviours have been covered. You've completed your MVQ, and then we will put you through to Gateway with all the off-the-job hours being met. So we keep a log sheet of that. Any functional skills or exemptions, and then you'd go through to endpoint assessment, and that would entail an online assessment, which is multiple choice. I think it's about 45 minutes long, if I'm not correct, it could have changed, but it's an online assessment. And then then you have a practical assessment where the assessor, the independent assessor from the EPAO, comes into the college and you're assessed doing a practical task. It sounds a bit long. The practical task is 6 hours. However, we prepare you for those practical tasks. We already have mock practicals, so we would be making sure, and our coaches and trainers who are highly experienced would be making sure that they work with you prior to that endpoint assessment on developing your skills for those tasks. So we can ensure that you're able to fill that endpoint assessment. Everything you do throughout the duration of your apprenticeship is working towards that endpoint assessment. So by the time you get to that point anyway, you should be fully ready. And then you complete. And we have 3 grades that you can get. So it's a merit, pass or distinction. In some instances, it's a refer, which is classed as a fail. Luckily, we haven't had an awful lot of those. We have had very good success rates, and we've come out with some really, really good pass, merits and distinctions. A lot of distinctions, actually, which I'm really proud to say, across a lot of our programs. So, you know, it's very rewarding, and knowing that you've done all that hard work and to get to that point is really, really fulfilling for a lot of our apprentices. So depending on the level, apprenticeships may require previous qualifications, such as maths and English GCSE. Actually, all of our apprenticeships require you to have your maths and English GCSE or equivalent. If not, then that's absolutely fine. Like I said, we will fully support you, and you'll attend functional skills sessions, which are delivered online at the moment. And then at the end of your apprenticeship, you'll achieve the equivalent education level. So there's a bit of a table there that shows you what those various levels are. So if you were to do an intermediate level 2 apprenticeship with us, that's an equivalent of a GCSE. If you were doing an advanced level apprenticeship, which is a level 3, it's an equivalent of an A level. And then we offer very few higher apprenticeships at the moment, but it's something that we will be developing over time. And then they are foundation degree or above. So as you can see, we have a whole catalogue of apprenticeships. I won't read them all out because I'll just bore you, but you know, you can have a look through that list right now. some of these, all of these apprenticeships are apprenticeship standards. So the reason I keep saying apprenticeship standards, previously apprenticeships were frameworks, they were very old school. A lot of it was very assignment based, filling in a paper-based portfolio and ticking a lot of tick boxes and questions, whereas now the onus is very much on the employer and on the apprentice to fill a lot of those skills and behaviours in the workplace. You're getting that real core experience that you need. So as you can see, we offer a real catalogue of apprenticeships at level 2 and level 3 and 4, and we've got some really good, exciting new ones that we've just recently launched, like digital marketer, junior content producer, team leader, and then we've got things like our hospitality apprenticeships relaunching, a brand new event assistant one, and property maintenance. So we've got some really good, interesting apprenticeships. There's lots of information on our website, so please do keep checking the website for more information. But any information you do need, you know, we're more than happy to answer if you've got specific questions about an apprenticeship that you're interested in. So finding an apprenticeship, so there's lots of ways. So, you know, we want to support you throughout your apprenticeship. We have a great business development team, and we have our own candidate pool. So if you're interested in an apprenticeship and don't have an employer that is willing to take you on, or interested in taking on an apprentice, we can help you with our candidate pool, but obviously that comes with challenges in itself, because we have to then wait for employers, or we have to see what employers are all currently looking for apprentices. But the best way is to go into nationalapprenticeships.gov.uk, www.apprenticeships.gov.uk, and see what vacancies are available. If there's anything that you're interested in, then have a look and then let us know. Also, you know, research the company, the job role, the standards. So if you see an apprenticeship advertised by an employer, make sure you do your research first. We do our due diligence checks. We do all of our checks. And, you know, once we've, you know, if you come to us and say, I've got an employer who wants to take me on to do a plumbing apprenticeship, that's absolutely fine. You know, we would expect to have all that information. Our business services team would contact the employer and get all the information they need and do their checks. So we don't just take your word for it. What I'm trying to say is we would actually do all our due diligence as well. But, you know, think about your contacts, think about your family, think about your friends or friends of parents and who have got businesses who may be interested in taking on an apprentice in the trade that you're interested in. And if they are, then we're more than happy to support the employer in knowing more about how to take on an apprentice as well, and how to support you to get your apprenticeship with them. So this is a case study of Dennis, who's one of our level 3 light vehicle motor vehicle apprentices, and he's currently in his final year, and you can see you know, he's had some brilliant opportunities. He is currently working for a company that actually deals with Mercedes cars, so he gets to work with cars that he really enjoys. You know, he loves cars anyway, but he's actually working with Mercedes, which is a really, really good opportunity. And he's really enjoyed the mix of being able to work 4 days a week at his workplace, Trident, and then also come into college for 1 day on day release, and, you know, have that social aspect with his, you know, peers as well. Obviously during the pandemic it was all online, but now we're back in the classroom. And, you know, after his apprenticeships, he's really hoping to carry on working at Trident, and I think he's done so well. I'm positive that he'll have a positive outcome, and hopefully, you know, he'll get a full-time job there. And if he doesn't, he's got so much experience now, and that, you know, he can go on to do amazing things. And, you know, as he said, he'd like to gain additional qualifications such as electric and hybrid technology, which is the sort of way forward in the motor vehicle industry. So this is another one of our apprentices. So this is Georgia. Georgia is a hairdressing level 2 apprentice, and she's currently working in a salon that she really enjoys. Again, she's made lots of new friends there. She's really enjoyed the hands-on experience. One of the things about our apprenticeship provisions is we have got excellent facilities. And, you know, you're probably thinking, oh, well, she's going to say that she's the head of apprenticeships. But we do have excellent facilities at Langley. We've got a real salon, you know, with real customers that come in and pay for treatments. So, you know, when apprentices are doing their hairdressing training, they're actually working on real clients and, you know, developing their skills in a real working environment. And so, you know, someone like Georgia has really, really enjoyed that path for her. For her, it's been really rewarding. And one day she plans to own her own independent business, which I think with the passion and confidence she's got, she'll definitely get there one day. So if you're listening to me rambling on right now and you want to be an apprentice, what do you do next? So it works slightly different with apprenticeships as opposed to, if you were interested in one of our full-time or part-time programs. So you wouldn't go through admissions, so you would contact business services. So I would suggest, if you're interested in taking on an apprenticeship with us, take a picture of that slide and take that number down and that email address and contact our business services team. Let them know which apprenticeship you're interested in. Let them know your current qualifications, your aspirations, and if you've got a company that is interested in taking you on, that would be even more brilliant. If you don't, that's fine. We can, put you into our candidate pool and try and help you source an employer that would be suitable in taking you on. But those are the people you need to contact. They're brilliant. They will get back to you and fully support you in, finding the right employer or liaising with the employer that you've got in mind. So if you've got any questions, I believe there's a question box that my colleague Fiona is monitoring. So if you've got any questions, please do put your questions in the box, and I'm happy to answer anything that you may want that I can answer right now. If it's something I need to go back and find out, I can always get back to you.
Sorry, Rena, I was just on mute there.
That's all right.
Always the way. Thanks so much. That was really, really interesting as usual. Lots and lots of details about apprenticeships, and obviously the real sort of positive benefits of undertaking an apprenticeship. So one of the questions that we've got that is the one that kind of comes in all the time when we talk about apprenticeships is, how do you find an employer?
So like I said, that's probably the biggest challenge. So, think about people that run businesses that you already know. Do your research. There's lots of employers actually advertise vacancies. You might see that somebody is advertising a junior vacancy online somewhere, or on Total Jobs, or various websites, and then you might actually want to contact them directly and say, would you actually be interested in taking on an apprentice? And if they would be, then they probably would. At the moment, there's a real incentive for employers to take on a new apprentice, so they get a financial incentive from the government. So that's a real hook at the moment. But yeah, do your research, contact local businesses, think about businesses within your area. If you're interested in a motor vehicle apprenticeship, think about the local garages that you've got. Pop along there, go and have a chat with them and say, do you have any vacancies? To say no, and then say, would you be interested in taking on an apprentice? At the moment, there's lots of businesses really interested in taking on an apprentice, but even they don't actually know how to take on an apprentice. So you could be doing them a little bit of a favour. Given that we've just come out of a pandemic and a lot of people have had to scale down their business and now reopening again and getting busy, it's probably a really good time for them to be thinking about taking on an apprentice. So you might surprise yourself.
Yeah, so I think what you're saying is don't be shy.
Yeah, don't be shy, be confident. You're not, what's the worst? I always think with anything, what's the worst that will happen? They'll say no. Yeah,
and then obviously we get vacancies from employers and we'll always try and match.
Yeah, which is why the candidate pool, that's what that is. So we've got a candidate pool, you can contact our business services team, let them know what sort of apprenticeship you're interested in, and they will put you in the candidate pool. And when we do have employers, we do have lots of employers actually that tell us that they're looking for an apprentice, or if they've had apprentices complete with us and say, actually, I'd like to take on another one in September or another 2. So we do have a candidate pool. Obviously, sometimes it can be a bit of a wait, but we continually push. Our business services team contact employers all the time to find out if they're interested in taking on an apprentice.
Great, and also you can go up the levels with apprenticeships, can't you?
Yeah, so you could. So a lot of our apprentices, whether it's engineering, motor vehicle, carpentry, they usually they start at level 2, and majority of them progress to level 3. For instance, hairdressing, we've got a lot of level 2 hairdressers that are soon to complete, and some of them are already showing some interest to go on to do the level 3 next year. So for us, there's a lot of progression there, and for us that's brilliant. That's a real good success story as well, because we're actually seeing that apprentice develop and succeed in their career.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you. Well, I think we don't seem to have any more questions, so hopefully you're presentation was comprehensive enough. We are recording this as we usually do, so we'll send that out to everybody that's registered for today. So if you want to go back over this presentation and pick up some more information and revisit it again, or show it to parents or show it to your children, whichever way it goes, you'll be able to do that. And also you can contact the apprenticeship team. Is there a slide with your contact details on?
Not with mine, but the business services team, but they can always field any queries to me and forward them on. If you're anything like me and you're watching this and you kind of think of questions afterwards, I'm a bit like that. I think of something afterwards. So, you know, feel free to send an email to the team. Otherwise, my email address is rena.kainth@windsor-forest.ac.uk.
Let me put that in the chat, Rena.
Rena.kainth@windsor-forest.ac.uk. So if you've got any general queries and you just want to ask any questions, feel free to contact me directly as well.
Okay, so you've got Rena's direct email there, and if you want to snap this screen that's showing with the business services team email, then you feel free to contact them. Also, there's still time and another 10 minutes on the live chat on the website. So if you've got any more questions, then jump onto the live chat and ask the team there. Thanks so much, Rena. Always brilliant presentation as usual. And
thank you.
Thanks very much, everybody, for joining us this evening.
Thank you. Have a great evening, everyone. Take care.
Thank you.